Virginia's governor says he will not resign after getting caught up in a racial scandal.
Someone just discovered that Governor Ralph Northam's 1984 medical school yearbook shows two men, one in blackface, the other in KKK garb. KCAL 9 political reporter Bryan joins us now with the political fallout there.
Yeah, and you know it's a bad night when members of your own party are calling on you to step down, and that's what's happening this evening. A national political firestorm is threatening to engulf the governor of Virginia. Tonight, even California Senator and Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris has jumped into the fray after Governor Ralph Northam's dirty little secret was uncovered, a racist photo including blackface on his yearbook page.
Earlier today, I released a statement apologizing for behavior in my past that falls far short of the standard you set for me when you elected me to be your governor.
Tonight, the Democratic governor of Virginia is grasping for a way to hang on to his office in the face of a national uproar over this page in his 1984 medical school senior yearbook, with a racist photo showing a smiling man in blackface and another person in a Ku Klux Klan robe, one of whom is now the Virginia governor, Ralph Northam, who was 25 years old at the time and now is apologizing in the face of a political firestorm of controversy.
That photo and the racist and offensive attitudes it represents does not reflect that person I am today or the way that I have conducted myself as a soldier, a doctor, and a public servant. I am deeply sorry.
Throughout his political career, Northam has been known as a Democratic favorite and a strong supporter of civil rights. But the chairman of the Virginia Republican Party wrote today, racism has no place in Virginia. These pictures are wholly inappropriate. If Governor Northam appeared in blackface or dressed in a KKK robe, he should resign immediately.
We are here because the American dream and our American democracy are under attack.
And now the yearbook controversy has reached the presidential campaign. Several Democrats in the running, including California Senator Kamala Harris, are calling on Northam, a fellow Democrat, to resign. She tweeted, "Leaders are called to a higher standard, and the stain of racism should have no place in the halls of government. The governor of Virginia should step aside so the public can heal and move forward together." But some Democrats, including presidential candidate Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, while being critical, are still not calling for the governor to resign.
I think he needs to explain to the voters of Virginia what that was about, and I think he needs to apologize.
But you're not calling for his resignation yet.
I think he needs to apologize.
And while Governor Northam said tonight that he's deeply sorry about the page, he did not say he's resigning.
I cannot change the decisions I made, nor can I undo the harm my behavior caused then and today. But I accept responsibility for my past actions, and I am ready to do the hard work of regaining your trust. I am committed to continuing that fight through the remainder of my term.
But New York Times op-ed columnist Charles Blow told CNN's Anderson Cooper tonight that is not enough.
I want to know, did the governor ever, prior to being caught now, try to make amends for what he had obviously done on purpose in public? And if now you're just saying, I'm going to do the work, well, what happened in the last 30 years when you should have been doing that work? You know, of course you knew it's in the yearbook. You put it in the yearbook.
Now, tonight, the list of Democrats calling on Governor Northam to resign is growing rapidly, now including Democratic presidential candidates Cory Booker and Julian Castro, as well as Senator Elizabeth Warren, in addition to Kamala Harris, whom we showed in that report. Governor Northam has only been in office for 1 year as governor and still has 3 more years to go to his term, But, Sharon, it looks like he's got some real rough road ahead.
It does indeed. Yeah. All right, Dave, thank you.